Welcome back to another episode of No Sarietes on the Sounder at Heart Podcast Network. This is a bit of a special episode. We're doing an episode of Coach's Corner, which is a show that Nico normally does. I'm here with Nico Moreno and special guest, Gonzalo Pineda, former Sounders assistant, but much more recently, the coach of, where am I?
Atlas.
Atlas. I was like, it's not Atlanta. But he was previously Atlanta, but I got like in my head. Anyway.
And he's in Atlanta.
He is in Atlanta. Exactly. This is all these ATLs that are, and it's early here. So I apologize for that. But Gonzo, welcome to the show. This is great having you.
Oh, thank you, Jeremiah and Nico. Good to see you guys. And yeah, very happy to be here with you talking about football.
So we're going to get most of this show, just to give people sort of a run of it, is we're going to be looking in more kind of broad picture what's going on in from a coaching perspective. But before we get into that, I feel like we have to ask you about the Sounders qualifying for Leagues Cup yesterday. It felt like a big win. What did you make of the performance there?
Yeah, honestly, especially the last couple of years, I feel like huge credit to, of course, to the players, but to Brian and his coaching staff. I think other than Pedro de la Vega, which is a fantastic player, and finally he's having some consistency without injuries and all that, and he's really showing his quality. I think they haven't signed any major DP or something like that, like Raul Ruidiaz caliber or Nico Lodeiro, and Pedro should have been that one, but then the injury happened, and the consistency part of him wasn't quite there, and now it seems like he's getting better. But the last couple of years, you can see Sounders relying a lot in academy players, in young players that are doing great. And I think when that happens, it's a lot on the coaches. It's a lot on Brecky, on Andy, and all of them, Tommy, Freddy Juarez. It's on all of them, and of course Brian as the leader of that group. But you can see the football, the ideas, and yesterday was very good, especially the first half. I felt like the first half was a little bit better. Second half, of course, LA tried to press a little bit more, but the first half was really good. I watched most of the games of Leagues Cup. Cruz Azul was amazing. The second half was, just for the books. So it was really good, really, really good. It's been amazing.
And so, this was. I'm trying to remember. You left right before the Leagues Cup in 2021. Is that right? Or were you still part of the team when the Sounders played in Leagues Cup final last time?
Yes, I honestly don't remember the stage of the tournament, but it was August, and it was the game where Sounders beat Tigres 4-0 at home.
Yeah,
golazo from
that was earlier in the tournament. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, golazo from Nico Lodeiro, and that should have been my last game on the bench. But then, just arriving the stadium, I got the COVID test, and I turned positive.
Right.
So I went to my car and I had to depart, and then quarantine for 1 week, and then flying to Atlanta. So yeah, it's a funny story, but yeah, that should have been my last game.
I had totally forgotten about that little detail. That was it feels like such a long time ago. But what have you made of this tournament in general? It's obviously evolved over the years. Do you think this is a good thing? You participated in on both sides now. What do you think of this? Is it a good thing for both leagues? Is it something that has more evolution to do?
Yeah, look, I'm a bit more polite when I'm in Mexico, but to you guys, I'm going to be honest, it's completely unfair. It's a completely unfair tournament for Liga MX. I mean, the teams are quite even. I mean, it's hard to tell, Inter Miami versus Tigres, home and away, who's going to win. is hard, or Cincinnati, or Columbus, or you know, it's there, it's quite there. But if you take the advantage of, you know, in our case, we played in Monterrey away, a lot of humidity, heat, all that. Then come back to Guadalajara, then fly to Miami, heat, humidity, then fly to Orlando, heat, humidity, and then fly to Atlanta, turf, all these things. The stadium was open, so it was a little bit of humidity. And then come back to Mexico to play your home game. You know, all of these 6 trips, 6 travels in 2 weeks. It's 5 games in 2 weeks. Is super
It's crazy.
It's crazy for Mexico. As Inter Miami stay in Miami the whole tournament, and they are at home and they can train wherever they want, and at the time they want, they don't travel. Orlando the same. So it's quite unfair for Mexican teams, and that I think is a differential. It's something has to happen where at some point in some stage MLS have to play in Mexico too, just to even out things. Other than that, it's a nice tournament. I think we're both excited to play against each other. I think it was better just playing MLS teams and MLS teams only playing Liga MX. I think that was an improvement. But other than that, I think it's quite unfair.
When it comes to the Sounders, Gonzo, and I know you watch a lot of Sounders game, if I'm not mistaken, when you see the young players and the commitment, because you've been on that coaching staff, you know the commitment of the club to not just develop young talent, but to build a pipeline that allows them to become usual contributors with the minutes. Is that kind of the foundation, the secret, what makes the Sounders that maybe they don't have to consistently go and come out of pocket to buy, you know, designated players, or, you know, a whole bunch of foreign players, because they have this sustainable way of fulfilling their rosters consistently?
Well, I think I'm sorry to always come back to Brian, but everything comes to Brian. I mean, all the ways go to Rome, all the ways go to Brian. You know, it's Brian always figured out how to win, and that's the thing. Whether you have an experienced team with a bunch of experienced players, foreign players like 2016, he wins. And then you have 2 fantastic DPs like Raul and Nico, you win. And now you don't have that, and he's finding ways to win. And that's Brian. Now, when it comes to developing talent, you have to take an eye to the scouting process that they have with college, because most of the teams nowadays, they don't look at college to fulfill that part of the team, that part of the roster. And this comes from even Christian Roland coming from UW. I remember Brian sending me to Seattle U to watch Alex Roldan. He was a number 10, and I was there watching Alex and some others. I mean, there were many players coming from college that we were watching and then taking tryouts in the summer. For example, the center back, the tall center back now, completely
Jackson Reagan
was there. Paul Rothrock, which I knew from academies, but also I knew from college, coming 1 week in this summer, whatever, and we were training them with the team. So that part, you have to give credit to Brian, that always keep an eye on colleges and kids, especially kids from Seattle that went to college, and he follows up. So now you see, for me, it's great watching, whether it's Nuhu, Nuhu came to Saunders too and came through some sort of academy system, and then watching Jackson Regan, and then yesterday Reed Baker Whiting coming from the bench, and then Obed Vargas, and then Christian Roland, and then Paul Rothrock, and then some other kid that I don't even know his name. I never met, Barrell or something like that.
Snyder Brunel.
Yeah. There are a lot of those, and then I watch a game where a center back, 70-year-old, which I don't know the name, 70-year-old center back debut.
Stu Hawkins.
Yes, Stuart, that kid, and then you see that, and Jordan Morris is another one coming from college, growing in academy system in Seattle. I mean, it's fantastic. It's great to watch that, and you can see again, credit to the players, because it always comes to the players, but credit to the coaching staff. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah, and look, we're gonna get, obviously, because I'm not gonna allow you to get off this segment without asking you about the final with Sounders and Inter Miami. But I did want to ask you a little bit about Obed Vargas and his future, and you know him well. He's holding up to make that step into Europe. He's been very vocal about not wanting to go anywhere, but Europe. What do you make of his talent, his potential, and his decision making to, he's done a lot of things, right? He's switched from the the U.S. Federation to the Mexican Federation. He seems like he's a guy that's very methodical about the way he handles his future. So just your take on him in general.
Well, before I go to that, I completely forgot my boy Danny Leiva. Danny, my boy, and I completely forgot about him. The other day he had 3 assists, and
Yes.
the penalty was on him, right? So yeah, it was amazing to watch it. And then there was another game where he gave a fantastic assist. Well, not an assist, in Cruz Azul, that he put the ball on top of the court. Then who scored his goal. So very good on set pieces, Danny. But yeah, good to see. Then Obed, it's super talented. I mean, it's a couple teams in Mexico asked me about him, and hey, what is he about, and all these, and they were serious on intentions to trying to sign him. And I think he's just improving consistently his game. When you first watch Obed, you never knew that he was that powerful physically. I mean, he made his debut at 15, so you can see he had, yes, some physical attributes to cope with the intensity of MLS. But what you see nowadays is a super complete and modern center midfielder. I think when you look at his squats, the way he improved his squats is amazing. Now I met him as a teenager, and 14, 15 years old, and now he's a man. Physically, he's a man, and he is very capable of player from the back, of receiving in between the lines, of connecting passes, very well aware of time and space, which is fantastic. I'm completely sure Preki is on top of him all the time, watching him, the way his angles and all these, because Preki is super good on that. Time and space, and look over your shoulder, and all these, and Brian loves vision, and I'm sure he's developing a lot on that. And then you see the power he has. He's able to receive the ball and go at people and dribble past people with power, and that's something that surprised me a little bit when I've been watching his development. So yeah, and the last part to me, and the most important part, is the personality, the mentality that the kid has. I remember that game against Pumas, a little bit painful to me, and a little bit happy, that final Pumas versus Sounders in CCL, and Joao Paulo got his injury, ACL, and then the kid comes, and it was just just light. It was just unstoppable. And I was, oh my God, this kid coming in this stage and performing that way, it's going to be amazing. And yeah, the personality and the humility that he has is amazing. So for me, no rush on signing, on going to Europe, on these. Focus on playing, focus on continued improvement. Listen to Brian, listen to Preki, to Andy, to Freddy Juarez, to all of them. Listen to them, be coachable, perform, and then the offers will come, whatever it is. Let your agent to do that job. You focus on playing, and that's my advice for Obed. But you never know. You never know when it's going to be his last game for Sounders. You never know, because a good offer can come at any moment, and Sounders may take it, and then he will be gone. So he needs to enjoy his time in Seattle and continue the improvement, because when the level goes up, and if at some point he's going to play in Europe, all these little details of a bad angle, a bad throw, lack of vision, not looking over your shoulder, not receiving the ball in the pockets, and all these little details will make the difference between go to a different level or staying there or coming back to MLS. So that has to be his mentality on preparing for the big moments in his career, and whether his national team with Mexico, which I'm very proud that he picked Mexico, by the way, and then or Europe. So no rush for me. He has time, and I think he's doing well.
What do you make of the way that this has been received in Mexico, or what do you make of it yourself, that he seems to have been pretty clear about his desire not to go to Mexico, but to go to Europe as his next step, that he sort of sees going to Liga MX as a lateral move, whereas he feels like, look, if I'm going to leave the Sounders, I want to go to someplace that's clearly a step above it?
Well, I don't want to say that Liga MX is ahead of MLS, because it's not clear. I just said that it's kind of even. But there are things that Liga MX has that MLS don't have, like the pressure. The pressure with the fans, with the system, the environment is something different. So if he goes to a big club like Cruz Azul or Tigres or Monterrey or Club America, which I hope he doesn't go to Club America, but or something like that, he will have to perform. It's different when you're a kid and people expect you to play whatever because you're a kid, you're coming from you're homegrown, and people loves you. So whether you have a mistake, no problem, you keep it up. In Liga MX, if you don't perform 1 or 2 games, you have 2 bad mistakes, people go at you. You are reinforcement. You're an addition to the big team, and you have to perform. You have to fight for your spot, and you have to perform. It's not 34 weeks, 34 games. It's 17 games. Every match matter. If you lose 1 game, that may be the difference between making playoffs or not, and it's super intense. And that intensity, that pressure, might be good for him, to prepare for Europe as a step in between those two objectives, right? So, but again, that's more his agent. That's more, other people. Even Sounders. I think Sounders will try to help Obed with the best possible decision. I think Brian is super wise. Brian is someone that I rely always on asking for his opinion on things, because he's extremely wise, and he can give a good advice to Obed on that. But eventually he has to play, he has to perform, he has to go to the national team and try to do well now that he's going to that World Cup. And I don't know. He has to let his people do those decisions, and to make those decisions on things, and when to go, and which teams are better for him, and all this. He has to play.
Uh, Gonzo, I did want to get on if to try to conclude the Sounders portion of this. Uh, Huge game for the Sounders here at home. Lionel Messi, Inter Miami. What do you make of this game? And you know how on one end you got this collectiveness of play in terms of the Sounders with the group that relies on that, and then a team like Inter Miami with Lionel Messi, with Rodrigo De Paul, and all of this stars. You know, what do you make of that game?
Well, I was about to say something, but no, I'm gonna save it for private. Uh, because
Okay.
there's always another factor with Inter Miami that comes in play.
Oh yes.
Uh, uh, but other than that, yeah, huge game. I mean, Inter Miami has a fantastic team, well coached, and yeah, it's a good final. And yeah, that factor of Leo Messi, of course, it comes to play. Um, he continues to amaze the fans with. You always think, oh, Lionel, is getting older, and how many games he will play, and he continues playing and performing. And yesterday was another testament for that. And he's impactful. He's extremely impactful, even at his age, where you may think that he's coming just to play half of the games or just 3/4 of the game, and not being as impactful as before, but he's not. He's performing, he's playing, and he's delivering goals and assists, and well, that magic that surrounds Messi, of course, is something you have to take in consideration. Now, yesterday, Nuhu took a red card, which is going to be, that left side where he loves to be, in that little pocket in between left back and center back, and a little bit in the middle. So now, I don't know if Reed is going to be the guy who's going to take him, or who's going to try to take a match with Messi. I assume Nuhu was very important for that game plan, but now we will see. I think the other part is at times I feel like Messi is also a distractor, because he attracts the attention of so many guys. But then you have to keep an eye on Rodrigo De Paul. You have to keep an eye on Busquets. You have to keep an eye on Jordi Alba, coming always, overlapping always on that left side. And they have a huge connection between Busquets and Messi, with Jordi Alba in behind the right back. And then that connection, Jordi Alba, that lateral pass to Messi on top of the box, and then Messi playing first time shot on frame. Normally it's a goal. And that connection between those three, and of course Luis Suarez with Messi, Busquets, those diagonals that he makes, and those through balls that they can play. But you think it's always Messi and Messi and Messi, and you are always keeping an eye on Messi because he's walking and he doesn't seem to be too dangerous walking, right? But then the moment the ball goes to him, he makes magic, and the people around him kind of takes that attraction from Messi, and then they appear in different pockets. And De Paul now is a new addition, a super talented center midfielder. So it's going to be a tough match, but again, Brian Schmetzer always finds a way to win.
Yeah, it is kind of a remarkable. What I guess this is. We'll close on this as far as Sounders go, and then we can move into other stuff. But I just really want to get an insight from someone who has worked with him and observed him so much. What does Brian do that allows him to succeed over such a long period of time, and with such different sort of talent around him, the different kind of players that he has at his disposal? Like, it doesn't seem like he's committed to a system per se. It's there's something else going on here.
Yes, once again, I think everything comes to leadership and mentality from Brian. I think for him, Duels 1 is a stat that he always paying attention, and that tells you a lot of what he's looking at the players. He's looking at those type of players that deliver and deliver in a good way first. Tough to beat, Brian always talk about that, always being a team that is tough to beat, and from there you can build something. And that being tough to beat has a lot of characteristics as a player and as a team, is being aggressive, is being intense. You have to show your intensity, do your job. You have to win your duels, match the intensity of the opponent. But the most important thing is the mentality. You have to have a good mentality, and a good mentality is not the one that is when we're winning 4-0, then I'm trying to do a nutmeg and I'm super nice and tricky. No, is when you're losing 2-0, that's where you're gonna show if you have a good mentality or not. You continue fighting, never quit, never surrender. Sounders never quit. That's the number one rule, and you always fight till the end, till the end, till the end. Over time, when you pass the years, not just one season, 34 games, whatever, over time, when you create that culture, that mentality of never surrender, never quit, always fight till the end, every ball matters, every run matters, making your job, you have this. You have a culture of a team that doesn't matter who's on the field. Now, I don't know if you have noticed, but so many rotations in the last, 10 games, and rotations and rotations, and I see, and the performance is it's very similar. I think that's Brian. That's creating a culture over time that is tough to beat, is always competitive, and when you have a little bit of that magic on the front part of the team, you score a bunch of goals, but the other part is you receive very little goals because the defense is always key for Brian, and that balance gives you this type of culture and this type of teams.
Gonzo, as we move a little bit towards you and make that shift, the coach's corners, an idea that Jeremiah and I kind of came up with to get more into the coaches and not just the tactical stuff, but the mental component of it. And I'm very curious to hear from your words, what your experience has been after your first two projects. I recall as it was yesterday, how many times you and I talked about what you wanted to do, because you've always been such a tactician, such a video guy, such a guy that was such influence on Christian Roldan and everybody around you because of your tactical brilliance. But it definitely hasn't been easy. So how would you describe, the challenges? Was anything more difficult than you expected? What is it that you would say about this, your Atlanta time, Atlas time, and then your overall take on what's been a head coach?
Well, it's a very nice question. Very good question. It's tough to condense 4 years of career in 20 seconds of my answer, but I would say that I'm different. I've been always different. As a player, I was always different. As a person, I consider myself different to the rest of the people. Not many close friends. I'm a person that loves privacy. I'm a person that loves listening, classical music or opera or trova, which is my favorite music. Is Latin American music, but more poetic, more Silvio Rodriguez. I mean, I'm kind of different to people that listen to reggaeton, for example. So I'm different. My tastes and my things are different to other people. That's just I'm different. And in football, it happens the same. I mean, I love winning, of course, as anyone loves winning, but I'm more of I don't know. I have this utopia in my mind to play beautiful football and to play always the way I want to play. And in that sense, I'm a little bit different to Brian because Brian, again, he delivers, he finds a way, he's tough mentality and always finds a way to win, and he adapts to his players, and whether it's 4-2-3-1 or whether it's a 4-3-3 or whether it's a backline of five, which we did in, I think, 2019 or something like that, or 2020. And he adapts. He adapts to the. I'm not. I'm more of a coach that has a philosophy of playing, a way of playing, and I try to adapt my players to that system. Of course, I'm flexible, whether it's back four, whether it's back five. I'm flexible with the system, but I'm not flexible with play out from the back. I'm not flexible with high pressure. I'm not flexible with intensity. There are non-negotiables in my teams, and having the ball more than the opponent, trying to be the team with more goals, more goals created. I'm sorry, chances created. I have this utopia in my mind that I want to deliver. So it's not just about winning; it's about winning in my way to try to provide a good product too. You know, as a fan, you love a team that tries to play from the back, that likes to attack, that is fun to watch, and I want to deliver that. So I feel like in my time in Atlanta, we did that. We kind of did that in many parts of my time in Atlanta. I mean, the first part was amazing. No one did more points than us, and I think we were playing very good football in that 2021 year. Unfortunately, one game versus New York City in the playoffs in Yankee Stadium, two set pieces, and we were out. But it was a very good team with very good players, and eventually New York City was the champion that year. And then, you know, the next year, which should have been the continuation or the next step of the evolution of that group of players, I mean, we had a few changes in terms of players. Barco departed to River Plate, and then Thiago came in, which Thiago was amazing. But then George Bello left too, and center backs. I think Anton Walks goes to Charlotte. Rest in peace, Anton. And then suddenly the team changed a little bit, and then the injuries happened. I mean, I tried to bring the best center mid possible, and I brought Ossie Alonso. And then in the fourth game, he does his ACL. And then I lose Brad Guzan with Achilles in the 8th game. And then Miles Robinson in the 8th game. In the 10th game, Achilles for Miles. And the third goalkeeper, Achilles in preseason. And then my second goalkeeper, which was number one by then, he decided to retire to go to college. So I suddenly, in the middle of the season, I had non-goalkeepers. And then I didn't have my best center back, my best center mid. And then Joseph did his injury too. So he was out for 10 weeks. So a lot of these things happened. And then that year, in terms of results, was a disaster. In terms of results, was, you know, very bad. But the game and the football that we played, I think it was really good. I think, consider the circumstances, and that we continue trying to play out from the back. We did that, and we were one of the teams with better balance between expected goals and expected goals against and possession of the ball. So again, we tried that, and then the next year, when all the new players came in the 24th game against Seattle.
Yes.
I think it was the 25th game against Seattle. We beat them 2-0 in CenturyLink. Now it's Lumenfield, I'm sorry. We beat them there. That was the first game with all my new players. The first game of Giacomakis, the first game of Sava. I think Sava didn't even play. It was Shande. Tristan Muyumba started that game. So it was the first game, the last 10 games, and we did good things. We played good football with that team. And eventually we did the playoffs. We made the playoffs, and we had this unfortunate thing to face Columbus, one of the best teams, in my opinion. The team that plays the better football is Columbus nowadays.
Yes.
I think is in MLS is the number one since 3 years ago, and we faced them, and they were really good. 3 matches, we lost away 2-0. Thiago wasn't there. He took a red card in the last game of the season. So we didn't have Thiago, and we played really bad. We deserved to lose. The next game, we beat them 4-2 at home. And then the last match, we lost 4-2 in Columbus. But I felt that we deserved to win that one. So again, we played good football, and we lost again against the champion. And but I think the team tried to play in that way and did that. And when you look at the stats in terms of possession, expected goals, all these stats that people love, I think it shows that we try to play in that way. So with Atlas, I tried the same. And we certainly wasn't as successful and as good as we did in Atlanta. But you see some stats like it was the best goals for a team in the last season. It was the second best numbers of goals scored for the club in the last 10 years.
Oh, wow.
So we scored a bunch of goals, a lot of goals. Unfortunately, we conceded also a lot of goals, and we couldn't make the playoffs and all these. But we were a team that was fun to watch, was scoring a lot of goals. This season, I left the team with 7 goals in 3 games. So it was a good average. I think that's what I want. I don't know if I will win at some point, because I want trophies. I want to win. I want to deliver trophies, of course, as anyone. But I want to do it on my way. I want to do it with good football. I want to do it in this way. So once again, when you come to results and you see my average points per game and all this, well, it may tell one story, but I look at it different. I look at it as always trying to play good football, always trying to play the way I want. And I think in many parts of my time as a head coach, I think it happened that way.
Yeah, and if you do look at it, I will say, just to kind of back up what you're saying, you look at Atlanta had a positive XG difference, meaning you were generating more expected goals than you were allowing all 3 of or for at least the last 3 years that you were there. I mean, that's to me, that's mostly coaching. Like that's the stuff that you can control as a coach. That's the stuff that your job is to help create chances and to help limit chances, right? You can't actually do the scoring. You can't actually save the shots. But I mean, I think that's a testament to you. But one of the things that always strikes me looking at Liga MX is just how fast the turnover in coaches is. It just seems like there are coaches, like there is no tolerance for a project. You're either winning right now or you're done. And I guess how does that weigh on? And yet there's coaches that seem to be addicted to sort of this this sausage grinder kind of like what is the atmosphere like for a coach in Mexico?
It's life or death every day. It's life or death. It's every day matters. Everything matters. And yes, it's a lot of adrenaline, a lot of pressure, a lot of things. And for me, what I told my staff was, guys, we don't know how much time we will be here. The average is 6 months, 7 months, I think, the average for coaches. For example, I was 3 years in Atlanta, and there are no coaches in Mexico that have been right now 3 years. I think the guy that has been the most is Club America, Jardine, which has been more than 2 years, but not 3 years. And he won 3 trophies on a row. So other than that, most of the coaches have been just assigned right now, this season, or just the last couple of weeks, or at the end of last year. There are not many coaches that come from even one season ago, which is 6 months. It's not 1 year. You remember, there are 2 tournaments per year in Mexico. So it's crazy. And so I told my staff, hey guys, we don't know how long we will be here because it happens. So let's enjoy every day. Let's have fun. Let's put the work every day, and let's try to do the best with the time that we have. The time that we don't have, we don't control. We have the time that we have, and that's it. We can control that time, right? So we did that. I think one of the things that make me more proud is the connections that we did in such a little period of time. It was amazing. It was the connections with all the staff, with the players, um, with the people working in the offices. It was really, really good. All the text messages you receive at the end is it's just amazing. And then yes, the work itself, it was good because we received a very good group of players, a hard-working group, very different from, I mean, guys, I've been in the US almost 11 years now, by now.
Mhm.
I arrived to Seattle in 2014, and then I've been out. So then things change. And people tell me players are different now and all these things. And you always get this thing of these comments of, oh, Americans are way more professional than Mexicans, and in the US everything is more professional and all this. And yeah, it's quite professional here in MLS, and yes, the Americans are very professional, of course. But when my experience in Mexico, Mexicans are as good as Americans in terms of professionalism, in terms of arriving at time, in terms of doing his duty. You tell them, hey, go to gym, they go to gym. You tell them, hey, make these runs, they make these runs. Whatever you tell them, Atlas players, they did. It's no complaints about the players at all. They were always disciplined, always hard workers, always wanting to eager to improvement, very professional environment. And so that surprised me a little bit because I heard all these comments of other coaches of, oh no, it's gonna be a disaster for you, and you are used to have professional player. Never one problem, not even one. So it was really good. But yeah, coming back to your question, yeah, it's a lot of pressure, Jeremiah, a lot of pressure. What I told about the bet, coming to Liga MX is like that, is you lose one game. For example, my last period with Atlas, the first three matches I had, it was Puebla away, we win. Then Cruz Azul at home, we are winning Cruz Azul 2-0, then 2-2, then we're winning 3-2, and in the last minute of the game, they equalized 3-3. So people comments were kind of, yeah, it was good, to cope with Cruz Azul. It's a really good team and all these things. But we tie, but it's good. We are showing something. We scored 3 goals against Cruz Azul, 3 goals against Puebla, like it's doing well. Then we go to Monterrey, and we are winning 1-0. I think 15 minutes we're winning away against Monterrey, which is kind of top. And then a very bad mistake from one of my players, pass back to the goalkeeper, but intercepted by Tecatito Corona. He goes inside the box, penalty, red card. So 1-1, red card at 20th minute of the game. And then you ended up losing 3-1. But we conceded the goals at the end. Like we fought and we tried and we were keeping 1-0, 1-0, 1-0 until it was not possible. But the vibes and the comments of people was, yeah, we're in a good track. We're doing good because, we are coping with the big teams. Then you go to Miami. And then in Miami, we did a fantastic game against Inter Miami. I mean, we had some clear chances. They had to because, again, they have a very good team. But I felt like it was even. So we were 1-0 losing. Then we equalized 1-1. And then we are there. It felt like we were closer to score the second one rather than Miami. And then we go. We felt that we were in penalties because actually the referee said 6 minutes. And at 6 minutes, 10 seconds, they score a goal and then they beat us. So rather than equalize 1-1, you go to penalties, maybe you win. Inter Miami, the vibes go, oh, Atlas beat Inter Miami, whatever. It goes quite the opposite for 10 seconds addition to Inter Miami, right? Well, whatever, the vibes were good. Then I made this decision to rotate the whole team against Orlando. We were good again, 1-1, and then two critical mistakes, 3-1, we lost the game. And then everything seemed to be like this. Everything seemed to be all the comments, no, really bad, what a disaster, losing 2 matches in Leagues Cup. All the comments and the vibes were super, extremely negative in 3 days. And then you go to Atlanta, we had a disaster of match against Atlanta. Disaster. We were really, really, really poor. I'm reflecting in a lot of things on what I could have done better, my lineup choices, all these things. It was a game where none of the teams, we were fighting for something. For me, it was more taking rhythm for the next match in Liga MX and then taking care of physical players and all these things. But we lost bad, like really bad performance. But in the Liga MX, we were good. We were okay. Like we had a game at home, and if we win that one, we were okay. We were in a good position. We were actually in playoffs position. But the vibes were so bad, so bad, and the comments and the fans, and even internally a little bit, not the players, but internally wasn't great. The vibe wasn't good. So we ended up losing at home, and everything was a disaster. Everything in 1 week. In 1 week, everything from coming from good vibes, everything went to a disaster, but bad. It's massive, and that is something that again MLS don't have. MLS don't you don't feel that type of pressure from everyone around, right? You have a couple bad performances, you said, hey, yeah, but you have still a lot of season, it's still early in the season and all these things. So you can work with a project. You have the time to test players. You have time to see which one works better, which one is your difference maker as a sub. And in Liga MX, you don't have that time. You don't have that luxury. You have to deliver right away or you're dead.
And Gonzo, obviously, I know you're a man of integrity. I've known you a long time, and that's why I'm not gonna like ask you about Atlas or the coaching stuff. They're nothing, but I did want to know because you're a passionate guy. You're a guy that it's highly intelligent. When you make the decision to step down, was it because of that pressure, the vibe? Like what drives you? What goes into you making that decision to take the step away from Atlas?
Look, there were a lot of things. Number one, it was kind of the understanding that I wasn't delivering, my pride as a coach, my integrity and my dignity as I've been trying, and we were good, but every match we concede 3 goals, 4 goals, and that cannot happen. That can't happen to this club, because actually the president and the sporting director are amazing guys, amazing people, super nice people, decent and just with good heart people. And I felt like I was in debt to them. But also I felt like maybe, if there was someone inside the club or in the front office that wasn't confident that I was the right guy for the project. In Mexico, normally coaches, you stay until they fire you, because then you can get that money away from those extra 3 months or whatever, and it's good money for everyone, right? So it's not it's something like I never liked to do. I never wanted to be in a place not where there's someone that don't like me there or don't want me there, and staying only because they cannot fire me, because they will have to pay a lot of money to me, and then they will have to hire a new coach, and they will have to deliver a lot of money, so then they stay. And I never wanted that. So for me it was, okay guys, here is my resignation. If you take it because you are not for sure that I'm the right guy, and you feel like right now I help the team more without being here, it's okay. You take it. I don't ask for any money. We're just shaking hands, and that's it. I'm not receiving any money actually. So, or you say, no, Gonzo, you are our guy. We want you here. Let's continue and let's go. And that didn't happen. So
Mm,
my reading, what I was feeling in terms of the context, the media, the fans, and a little bit, if there was someone in the front office that wasn't confident that I was the right guy, then I didn't want to be there. I needed that full support from everyone, that I was the right guy, that they were with me, the whole package. And I was feeling that vibe that maybe wasn't quite there. And I didn't want to, again, stay there just because of the money. I didn't want to do that. So it was a little bit of dignity, a little bit of appreciation for the people that trusted in me, and not to, it's so bad, the feeling when you feel you are in a place and you are only because whatever, but not because people want you there. People are committed with you, and people is no. And it wasn't the players. The players were fully committed. I cannot complain about the players. It was more the environment, the media, the fans, and eventually maybe the front office maybe wasn't quite sure that I was the right guy. So I did that because of that.
Gonzo, I could talk to you for hours, but I know that Jeremiah probably wants to conclude this at some point here soon. But I maybe have one more. But Jeremiah, do you have anything?
No, go ahead. No, go shoot. Fire it away.
Well, I'm wondering, Gonzo, how do you go about the next job? Because if there's anything that I know is that Gonzo is a coach, and he's gonna be a coach, right? I mean, I feel it, I see it. I think you're built for it. Is there a need to rush? Do you have a specific desire to either go back to MLS or stay in Liga MX because you feel like, I don't know, you have something to prove, or what's that mentality in terms of your next job?
Well, number one, and I don't want to mix things because in Mexico it's crazy. In Mexico, the media, put your words in a very different context, and then they create a different version of things, and completely different. So one time I told media that it was, this period of time was very difficult for me and my family because we were separated, and having teenagers in high school with all the things that happen in that period of your life, and I wasn't there. It was really difficult for my family, for my kids, my wife, and me being away. And then they said that was the reason I resigned, which is completely false. But coming to your question, I think my family will take a little bit of priority in this case. So I want to be with my family as much as I can. So that means I will try to get a job in the US, and I hope I have the luxury to do that, because you're always up to the teams that want you there, that want to follow your ideas, and and if I can choose, I will choose a team in the US. But I agree with you. I'm a coach. I feel like this is something that is more my call. That's how you say vocación, right? And it's my call to be a coach. And I feel I discovered this in my time in Atlanta. I think I discovered that this is what I want to do, not because of the trophies, because of being the guy that goes as the best manager in the world and all this. No, that's not my goal. My goal is to make better players and better people. And I feel like that's my goal. That's what I want to do. I want to develop not just players, but good human beings. That's my contribution that I want to make. And of course, if I can win a couple trophies here and there, that will be amazing. But my goal is to, for example, the work, not just me, because it's not just about me, it's about the coaching staff and everyone in the club, but the work we did with Caleb Wiley in Atlanta. The work we did with Thiago, the best year of Thiago was in Atlanta in goals and assists. The work we did with Giacomakis, for example, one of the second best production in his career was in Atlanta. Luis Araujo, the same. The best year was in Atlanta. Caleb Wiley, the best years, were in Atlanta. And Brooks Lennon, the best year of his career was in Atlanta. And then we had little projects here and there with Noah Cobb and Efrain and Gianni Fortune, and you had little projects of people that you want to develop. But again, for me, it's not just about completing your passes, and you know how picky I am about tactics and technical abilities. But I'm the same as picky as for them to say good morning to the people helping in the kitchen. Good morning, please. Can you do my breakfast, please? Thank you. Have a good day. Are nice words to have as a human being, and to develop those here or in Mexico, to be on time. For example, in Mexico, someone is not on time in any part, and he doesn't participate whether it's a training session or a game. So, for example, against Inter Miami, Leagues Cup, big game, one of my best players, Diego Gonzalez, wasn't on time for breakfast, and then he didn't play. He wasn't even on the bench against Inter Miami.
Wow.
But I'm trying to create a good human being that is on time. It's just respect for others' time, and it's just, you are in the hotel. It's not like traffic or a crash or something happened. You are an elevator distance to the meal, and you are late. So don't be late. And those things, for example, those are the things that I'm very picky too. And being good human being, professional, do your best on the field, but also off the field. So that's my call. That's what I want to do for the rest of my days, if I can, and if I have a job to do that. And whether, I don't know which level, if at some point I'm in Champions League in Europe, or coaching in a World Cup, or I'm in USL, or I'm in college, or I'm in a local kids academy, I don't know, but this is what I want to do because it's a call. So again, I don't know what future will bring to my life and to my career, but I definitely know that I want to, number one, develop good human beings, and also deliver good football to fans, to be engaged, and fans to be happy to watch their team. That's what I want to do.
And I'll allow Jeremiah to close us out, but I just wanted to thank you. Look, this again, this Coach's Corner, I could have sat here and talked to you about formations and your concepts and your principles, and we touched a little bit on that, but I was very interested on just your mentality, because you said it best. I used to watch Atlas because I wanted to watch Camilo Vargas and Quiñones at some point. I would watch Atlas just to watch you, and your teams always reflect your high press, your attacking concepts, everything that really worked for Gonzalo. So I know that you're going to land a great job here moving forward. But I wanted to thank you. And hopefully next time we're talking on the Coach's Corners with you, we could touch a little bit more tactics. But thank you. And Jeremiah, you could kill it after that.
Yeah, Gonzalo, it was really my honor to have you on here. You clearly are someone who is passionate about this, who has a lot of integrity, and who I really genuinely hope gets more opportunities, both here and honestly anywhere else you want to be. I think you are an absolute gift to the soccer world, to be honest with you. I love talking to you. I love hearing what you have to say. I love your mentality. And just want to say thank you for doing this. And I hope people like I know we get so many questions about you still in Seattle. People are very interested in what you're doing. People are very, they remember your time fondly here, even briefly as a player, but especially as a coach. I think everyone that meets you is like thrilled with the energy and everything else. So really wanted to say thank you for doing this. With all that said, though, I am Jeremiah Shan, signing off for Nico Moreno for this joint production of Nos Arietes and Pulso Sports. This is Coach's Corner, and we'll catch you next time.